Hello, everyone. I see so many familiar faces. So glad to see you, and thank you for all the hearts. Yes, I am a recovery coach, and a little bit about me. I started a journey into mental health um, after unexpectedly after my second marriage fell apart. My children were doing teen too much all of a sudden. None of the things
Yep.
that we usually did to, work through things were working. It had gotten to the place where they were in trouble everywhere, particularly my boys. We were in trouble at school. We were in trouble at church. We were in trouble.
Oh, snap, Cassandra, you had get in trouble at church with the Jesus. Oh my God.
We were in
Get in
trouble.
trouble with the Lord.
Okay. It was not fun. It was not fun times. And after, like I said, the things that we'd been doing, and just FYI, I'm over 40 and from the deep South. And my mama is, and I am African American. So I'm just going to leave that to your imagination as to some of the things that we were trying that were not working.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That is awesome.
Right. But through that, we got a referral to uh, go to take the kids to get some help at a mental health facility for children. And they were having a camp specifically for the kids. And after the camp, the people were like, look, they need more help. We need to put you all in a wraparound program. I had no clue what that was, no idea what this journey was we were about to embark on was, and how profoundly it would change my life and my children's life. But long story short, we started to have counselors and therapists and caseworkers come into the home to work with the kids and counsel with them. And through this, we learned that they got a lot of alphabets until we finally got the right diagnosis, and found out that they actually were dealing with bipolar disorder. And through the psychoeducation that we had, some very, very compassionate therapists and practitioners that took time to educate us, took time to help us understand what was going on, and didn't just kind of leave us out there. It was a very confusing
Hmm.
time, but we learned so much. But one of the things I also learned as they were breaking down the whys behind the behavior and how things were happening, it was kind of like, I do that. I feel like that too. Oh
Hmm.
gosh, what are you trying to say? And so, after 3 years of kind of gentle and not so gentle nudging, and one day finding myself sitting on the couch having ba moments, I finally
Hmm.
went to go get help myself. Um, and that was life changing. Getting help myself literally changed my life. Through that, after I'd been in therapy for a minute, I was invited to take a position as a peer support specialist, where I would be walking along other parents whose children were going through similar experiences. And through that, eventually switched over to adult mental health. And along the way, just realized I had such a love for coaching, and wanted to be able to do more than what I could do as a peer support specialist. So I eventually left uh, the field and branched out on my own, and have been doing that ever since 2000.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yay. That is awesome. And thank you for sharing a little bit about yourself too and your journey because it's so powerful. I know for so many of us that are going to be able to relate to this, but there's, to me, we can have lots of letters behind our names and all that. And, um, but there's nothing like having that personal experience
Mhm.
that people can relate to. And when, you've walked a mile in a client's shoes or a peer's shoes or, anybody's shoes, I think it's the thing that draws us together. It's just like these rooms that there
Mhm.
are so many of you guys tonight. I mean, I'm just like loving this. Like, I think I left off with like, I think I left off with like Tracy, and we got Michelle and Grace and Lori and Kelly and Shannon and Catherine and and Angie and Melissa and Kathy and Iris. Oh my God, you guys, and Candy. Hey, Janie, Simi and Beth and Jeannie and Andrea and Riley and Carly and the rest of you. I've already said. I know. Look at how fast can Anna say these names? But we can all relate to this. I mean, we've all walked a mile in each other's shoes in so many different ways, even though we have our own story and there's some things that are unique to us. We we understand when somebody is on the edge or having, issues, or your kids are in trouble, or, like you said, Cassandra, yep, there's certain, things that draw us together culturally and where we live in the community or in the states. And like we're all chuckling when you said that, I too live in the South. And so I live in South Carolina. I know we're in the Bible Belt here, you guys, and there's just certain things that, go along with, and we get a little chuckle out of it, but we can relate to this. So
Mhm.
I love that. And I think it's inspirational to hear, that, gosh, from this pain and from these tribulations, rose up, like this phoenix rising that you've become and like this huge success. So you guys take that to heart, because I know there's some of you in this room tonight that are on a similar path. And hi, Kelvin. And and some people are already doing it. Some people decided they're going to be coaches, that they're already getting degrees in this, or they're going to be ministers in some way or healer in some way to the community based on their own experience. So oh, Cassandra, that's beautiful. So thank you. Um, so so you guys, let's get into it, because this is our Monday night, master class, and I know a lot of you follow Cassandra and some of you follow me too. And this room is always a little bit different on Mondays, because we have a different guest every week. And Cassandra has graced us with her expertise tonight to talk about, being to taking off the zero superhero cape. And I think once again, it's going to be something that every single person can relate to in this room. Hey, Timothy. And tell us a little bit about that. Like, what is it that you mean by that, Cassandra? And then we can get into the meat of this. And you guys, feel free to post questions, raise your hand. Cassandra is an expert in a lot of these different areas, and parenting and children, and being a peer recovery coach and all these different things. So, take this opportunity to get your questions out there or interact. We love that. So I'm sorry, Cassandra, go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much. So, BCC, before Christ in Counseling, I was wearing my superhero cape proudly. I had people that referred to me as their shero. I would talk about being Superwoman. The whole thing. My theme music when I would be driving, entirely too fast was, Mission because the mission had to be possible, right? Um, and I had all these things that I would stack on my plate, and it was the depletion of my energy. It was the exhaustion that was honored, you know.
Yep.
And it was like one day, as I was just, going through this intentional healing journey, and I'd been in it for a while, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because I would go, 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 go. And when it was all said and done, there was no one there to honor what I was feeling, what I was going through, because I taught them that. I taught them it was okay not to honor it. I taught them that it was okay that I had it all the time. And so they didn't have to show up for me because I didn't need it. I was good, right?
Uh-huh.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I love superheroes. FYI, I'm a former theater geek, and I've always loved.
Yeah.
Okay, always. Superman is my favorite superhero, even though I am a huge Marvel fan. But as
Oh, you're gonna lose some followers over that.
I'm
I'm
gonna,
just kidding. I'm
oh,
just kidding.
I'll be losing my grandbaby right about now too because she's too.
Oh no.
But in that, I started noticing so many things that, were um, kind of connecting the dots between these fictional superheroes that we look at and we love to see their stories and their hero's journey between that and where we are before we are healing or earlier in our healing journey. Many of us wear the superhero cape, you know, um, but superheroes not only have PhDs from People Pleasers University, some of them
Oh,
some of them help write the curriculum. Okay.
uh-huh. Yep, they're the dean. They're the dean.
They were the
Yep.
queen. Okay. Um, the villains that superheroes face often are narcissists or very toxic, manipulating the superhero and their love and desire to do good against them. The cape is not healthy or healing, but armor that keeps us from truly engaging. And armor was never meant to be worn all the time. We
Oh.
the cape off in order to truly live. But before we can truly live, kind of understanding that correlation between that cape that we put on, between that armor, and how it shows up every day. So I have about 16 points. We probably are not going to get through all of them, but we're going
Okay. Oh, okay, you guys, are you ready? But I love what you said though as we get started, and that because you hit it right on the head, and I don't know if anybody picked up on this, but when you said we honor this exhaustion, we honor this like I can do it all, we honor the feeling of depletion, and it's really like it should be the opposite, right? Like of being able to honor ourselves to give grace. But that is society's thing. Like if you're not overachieving or if you haven't done all these things and you're dropping into bed, every night and you don't even know what day it is, there's
right,
something wrong. And
right.
I love that you acknowledge that. So thank you. Um, do you want to? I know Jeannie, you've got your hand up. Cassandra, do you want to take Jeannie's question now, or do you want to would you rather us wait till the end? How do you want to do your?
I will prefer to wait to the end only because
Okay,
get through a few of the points.
okay,
But
perfect.
definitely going to take questions. So thank you so much for your
Okay,
Jenny. We see you.
eh, perfect. And Jeannie, you feel free to put it in the chat too, but we will keep your hand up and or put it in the chat, and Cassandra will work her way back around
I'm
to you. Okay.
perfectly comfortable, but I totally agree.
Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. And I just want
I
to make
can't
sure,
wait to
Wally.
get into this with her.
Oh God, I can't either. This is so awesome. Okay, hit us with it, Cassandra. We're ready.
Okay, so um, my first point, which are the results of superheroes wearing the cape. The first one is they usually have a traumatic origin story that they refuse to deal with. The key word here being refuse, because it's one thing to know that something happened to you. It's one thing to know that you've been through something. It's a whole nother thing to make the very difficult and uncomfortable decision to work through it. Those are two different things. The other thing is they never experience lasting peace. Like from the comic books to the movies, you can look at any of these heroes and they have like 54 seconds of peace and then
Yep.
chaos all over again. Okay. Early in your intentional healing journey or before your healing journey, you may resonate with that. I know my life looked like a for real live soap opera. So it was always an issue before I started this intentional healing journey. Um, they have number three, they have terrible personal relationships. Like
Oh God, yes.
they are Um, they just don't. Their relationships suck. Even the ones that are good aren't good. For a number of factors, oftentimes to include having to deal with the duality that the superhero is going through. Um, they keep their loved ones. They keep the ones that they loved at an emotional safe distance. They never fully let those people that are close to them that want to be there for them in. The next point, they save the world and leave themselves to drown.
Mm,
They save the world and leave themselves to drown.
yep, they sure do.
Mhm. Next, they sacrifice everything and suffer in silence. Um,
Oh,
for a lot of my moms out there. Okay.
Oh, you're going to get a lot of people going, amen, amen, amen.
Right.
The
Um,
chat's going to start blowing up any second now with that comment. Yep.
Number 7, they often see the people they help as weak, less than, or in need of saving, rather
Oh,
than partners in care or healing. And that is whether it's the kids, whether it is whoever, they,
yep.
they see them as in need of their help rather than in partners. Um, Number 8, they often fight battles that most people have not asked them to fight.
Oh, yes. Oh my God, you guys. Yes. Okay.
You just showing up.
Yep.
You just
Yep. You're
volunteering.
getting everybody's business
You're there.
because you got all the answers.
You got it all. Ain't nobody asked you to do nothing. You're just like, I'm here. I'm here. I got it.
Yep. Oh my God. Yep.
Number 9, they dismiss the need to fellowship with the very people they are trying to save.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Because
that's
they feel superior.
they feel superior. They don't know this, but we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. But
Okay.
yeah.
Oh my God. These are so good. It's going to take us 4 weeks to break all this stuff down. Oh my God.
Number 10, most have unresolved trauma and help people through the lens of that trauma. That's
Say that again. Say that again.
most have unresolved trauma and help people through the lens of that trauma.
Oh, you guys. Yes. And project it all on everybody.
All on everybody. You just
Yep.
know, folks. Number 11, their pain never matters. Not to them, not to the people they are serving, again, because they've taught them that. And they've taught them that they're going to sacrifice all.
Mm-hmm.
Number 12, they often become voluntary martyrs.
Oh, yep.
Okay, you just laying it all and whole dying. Ain't nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
You just volunteering to die. Whether it's their finances that's going to die, your strength, you just volunteering to die. Uh, Number 13, they often have others who emulate them, not truly understanding the sacrifice it takes to be them.
Wow.
We almost done. Number 14,
You're fine. Like, wow.
they keep the struggle to themselves and a small group of enablers. Notice I didn't say friends, enablers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And number 15, they find every reason not to rest and genuinely live in the moment, always thinking and planning for the next fight.
Wow.
And number 16, love life. What's that?
Oh my God. Wow. I mean, you just summed up like half the people I know. Oh my God, this is fantastic. Okay, y'all. I don't even know where to begin. Like, this is just, I mean, this is so common to so many people that I know. I raised my hand for a lot of these that I've done. I've been down this path in the past.
Right.
Okay. All right. All right. So let's get into it. You got the list, you guys. And Ange wants to know if you can post this, Cassandra, eventually somewhere in your thread or your group chat or somewhere, because these are just awesome. We
Yes.
could literally spend weeks breaking these down.
Yes, I will definitely post these in my group chat. I try as much, those who are in my room, for some reason, every time I try to post in the chat when we're live, I get kicked out. Like every
Okay.
it won't happen.
Okay.
Just give me a minute.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
So, getting into, number one, which was, um, they usually have a traumatic origin story that they refuse to deal with, you know.
Hmm.
And our conversation today is about how to exchange that cape for grace. So, how do we do that? With number one, um, have we allowed the trauma to become the story as opposed to the trauma just being a part of our story? Remember that pain, yes, demands to be felt. So, yes, we need to feel it. But when we don't willingly allow ourselves to feel, we set ourselves up for it to wreak havoc in other ways in our lives. We must learn our origin story and or the origin of our trauma without actively living in our story. Are we living out of our trauma every day? With each decision, how we view others, how we treat others, how we respond, how we treat ourselves. What do
So
we
here's the question. Here's the question, Cassandra, that I have, and I know, you guys, Cassandra wants us to hold most of our questions to the end, but I did want to kind of jump in here because when you say that, do you have any thoughts about how to help us, separate the two,
mm-hmm.
and so we're not living in that trauma, and then we're trying to help everybody else from our point of the trauma that we're still going through and haven't resolved.
Right, right. And so the difference between living in the trauma as opposed to just learning from the trauma, because there's a difference, right? When you haven't dealt with it, you'll still be living in it. And that, again, that lens, which we'll talk about in a little bit, that's the way you view things. That's the way everything is going to be shielded through those lenses. um, I have some really great red heart shades, right? When I put those shades on, when I tell you everything is affected by the shades, if it's a red I'm looking at, it's a brighter red. If it's, green, it looks a certain way. I mean, everything looks different through the lens of those shades. Just like with the lens of our trauma, everything is glazed over because that's how we're looking through it because we haven't dealt with it. And so when you are making a decision that I'm not going to live in this story, one, you have to get help. We don't heal alone. And those of you who've been in my spaces before know we don't heal from that which we don't acknowledge. We have to acknowledge it so that
Hmm.
you can't push it down and act like it didn't exist. You can't sugarcoat it and not call a thing what it is. This isn't meaning that you're not healing just because you call a thing what it is. If it was abuse, it was abuse. If it was neglect, it was neglect. If it was pain, if it was pain. If it was narcissistic abuse, whatever it was, right? If it was your people just not having the capacity to show up for you, call a thing a thing. Calling it out is step one. You got to call a thing and acknowledge what it is that you're healing from. And after that, now you got to get the tools. You got to get the tools and make sure you're in safe healing spaces so that you can get the help that you need, whether that is taking part here on circles, making sure that you're going to therapy, other support groups in your area, and other people who are actually doing the healing work to heal. You need to be in healing spaces because that is going to help you start to break some of that living in your story. The other thing, while you're doing that, it is going to start to shift your perspective because we create a story around our traumatic events. There's the things that happen, but we create our own version of that story. And so when you start to get help, when you start to heal, you start to understand that may be a very real thing and how it happened and where you were at the time. But that's only one piece to the story usually. You know, when you start to actually heal, you're able to start letting go and remind yourself and learn to give yourself some grace. Some things that we're holding on to it like it was our fault, like we were bad people, like we were bad kids, you know, because we couldn't do something, we couldn't help somebody that we didn't have the capacity to help them no way.
That's right.
We didn't have the capacity
Yep.
had the capacity to show up for them anyway, you know. But it's not until you start changing that narrative and allowing yourself, giving yourself the permission to do that. And that's where you need that extra help with the therapy. That's where you need that extra help with somebody who's skilled in that because they can change that narrative and recognize how to shift it. So getting that help, pro therapy.
Step one.
That you,
Step one.
step one, you got to do it. And after that, it's not just what you're going to do in therapy. It's the things that you're going to do outside. Again, coming to
Hmm.
making sure that you're in these spaces that are affirming, that are going to help you remind yourself who you actually are and not the story somebody put on you and not the
That's right.
self.
The labels that we allow people to place on us is huge.
They're
And
huge.
in the real work is done in between the groups and in between the counseling visits. That's in your everyday life when we have to practice this stuff where the rubber meets the road.
Mhm.
That's where the real healing work is done. And
Absolutely.
I applaud all of these people. I mean, you guys, we have so many people on tonight, and I do want to acknowledge all of you. I mean, Wally had popped into the room, and Destiny, and Susan, and Louise, or Lewis, and Mandy, and Spirit, and Kelly, and Sandra. So I want to acknowledge you guys too. But and I know, and Janie, will you got your hand up? I know Cassandra's waiting until the end of the class to take questions, but this is really, it's, oh my God, this is so fascinating, Cassandra, how you are putting this together. So where do we go from here? What is our second one? We have so many people wanting you to post this and repeat this, and I mean, they're so awesome, but we're only on like number one and two.
Yes, well, I would
You
definitely.
got, you're gonna have to come back, they're gonna want you to come back and go through the rest of these because there is no way we're gonna make it a half hour.
We are not going to make it. We are not. But number two is, oh, and just one more, point about point one is
Okay.
have a choice. We have to make the choice to make sure that our stories just become research and that they're not a constant rerun in our lives. And that goes back to all the things that we were just saying that you have to do. That's how we stop them from being a rerun and we start making it research. So the next thing for point two, we shared that they never experience lasting peace. And how do we exchange that cape for grace for that? We have to make the decision to lean into peace because that's a choice. That's a choice. It is a choice to make that decision each and every day. What we focus on, we actually attract. Are we conditioning ourselves to wait on the next bad thing to happen? Or as we say down here, for the shoe to drop, for the other shoe to drop, right?
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
the next thing that will rob us of our peace, are we waiting on that to happen? Or are we being intentional about crafting and weaving peace into our lives every day? How are we doing that? And does that mean instead of taking that call that you know is about to upset you, you already know that they about some drama before you knew it when you saw the number pop up on your phone.
Yep.
You knew,
Yep.
but you take the call anyway. No, not today. Not today. You know, what are you doing to make sure that you're keeping peace? If it is the opportunity to pop off in this email because somebody said something stupid. That doesn't mean that you have to match that energy. You can still choose peace, not because of being run over, not because of letting anybody take. We're not talking about that. It's an actual decision to decide who, what, when, and where I'm going to give my energy to. A recognition that that energy is precious. I'm precious. And I'm going to give this energy to somebody, if I'm going to participate in it, is this peaceful or is this more drama?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, but I always tell, we talk about this a lot in childhood trauma group, which will be tomorrow morning, and I'm sure this will get brought up for how this conversation from tonight. But, there's comfort in trauma. So, even because it's what we know, and so a lot of times we unconsciously or consciously choose to keep it going
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
because it's what we're familiar with.
Mm-hmm. It and it will. It is comforting. I've shared the story before. How I broke up a whole relationship that I had after in between my first husband because we were on and off so much. But I had somebody that was very, very gentle and kind and considerate, and I had absolutely no idea how to deal with that. It was like, where's the fight at? I had no clue how to function in that setting. And I broke up
Mhm.
with dude because it was like, this is boring as a summer gun. I can't
Boring.
do this.
Yep.
I had no frame of reference for what somebody treating me with dignity and respect looked like, you know? And so I went back to the toxicity. So yes, we can most certainly be attracted to and used to and even find that comfort in the trauma, comfort in the drama. But it
Mhm.
comes a time when you are making a decision to start leaning towards your own intentional healing, when you start recognizing that there's time for a shift, there will be those opportunities to go back to the drama, to stay in it, or an opportunity for peace. What you gonna do?
Mhm. It is a choice,
Hmm.
and with a choice, there's a consequence for each behavior, right? So
Right.
you choose path A, it's going to take you down one road. You choose path B, it's going to take you down a different road, and there's going to be a consequence for
Hmm.
not picking up the phone or not engaging in the drama, and things might actually escalate for a while.
Hmm.
But we have to stand in our truth, and if we don't know what our values are and we don't know what our truth is, we can't stand on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
that brings us to number three. We have
Oh Lord. Here
the
we go.
terrible personal relationships. Okay. The terrible personal relationships. And quite simply, we cannot expect to have great personal relationships if we don't invest in them. And when I say invest, I'm not talking about your money because that can be transactional. If we are only dealing with people on a surface level or on a transactional level, we will only have surface transactional relationships, you know, and you can even throw sex in there too. So if we're
Hmm.
only dealing with them on this
Hmm.
this level way up here, and then we're not investing, spending quality time, getting to know them, allowing people to get to know us because we didn't put up all these barriers, barbed wire and walls, right? Then we're not going to have the deep relationships that we desire. And then we look up and when we need somebody, now we don't have anybody. You see this a lot in leaders that they look around and there's nobody that they can talk to because everybody that's around them is somebody that they're leading,
Hmm.
somebody that, they're supposed to be, leading, So, no, who are you making sure that you have a safe space with? And you need people that you're not paying. Yes, therapy is wonderful. You need it. Yes, please, please consider it. Circles is wonderful. You need it. We peer support, wonderful. You need it. But you need informal supports, people that care about you regardless that you are not giving money for to care about you, you know?
Hmm.
Because the people that do this work, yes, we care, but we're not going home with you. you know, we're not going to
Yes.
be there at 2 o'clock in the morning if something's going on and you just need to talk. Well, I mean, unless it's a room open here on Circles, but other than that, you need
Right.
somebody.
Exactly.
Need somebody that you confide in, and it's hard to do that when you don't let them in.
Well, and then this circles back to one of the other like seven, eight, nine, and 10.
Mhm.
The with the group of, even when we have these relationships or opportunities, and as Morgan just said, informal support is the hardest to find, and that is, I think that's so true. But when we do find people, if we have these feelings of superiority, or we got to fix them, or we got to rescue them, and we are going to be a martyr for them,
Mhm.
it we go in and then we make a mess again. So it's interesting because it's like we got to do it's like we got to work on ourselves like piece by piece to be able to put these other pieces in place. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. And again, we're not going to get to all of these, but there are a couple I want to hit, and then I want to open the door for discussion because I see that Janie and Jamie have had their. Is it Janie? Oh, that's lovely. I have had their hand up for a minute. So I want to go and skip down to. Um, let me see. Ah, number 7. which is they often see the people they help as weak or less and in need of
Mhm.
saving rather than partners in care and healing. And that is important because we must learn that people, whether it's family members, communities we are helping, or anyone else, are capable of figuring things out. They don't need us to save them. They need us to walk with them in support. That's it. They need to be
Mhm.
as able to do it. You know, we didn't need saving. We needed somebody to support us and to be there. and to
Right. Well, exactly. And people, I always tell people this in coaching, and because this is where, and I know you're a coach too. So this, when you're a coach, it comes from a place of positivity.
Mhm.
And we have this mindset as coaches of you already have the skills, knowledge, and resources within you to solve whatever problems that you have.
Okay.
You're the driver of the car, and we're just the fabulous passenger with great hair. And I'm like, that's what I tell my clients. I'm like, because again, you don't need a label. I don't need to smack a label on you and then fix you up and do this and that. No, you already got everything you need. You were born with it. It's inherent to all of you.
Yes.
And I do think that though that makes sense though that we isolate people that we want to be close to, and then when we get in relationship with them as superheroes,
Mhm.
we start looking for all the things that are wrong with it so then we can fix them. But why, Cassandra? Is it because of the need to feel needed or important
It
or
is.
validated in ourselves?
It is. And, we've talked about this, before, for those who've been in my spaces, when we talked about, even when we talk about narcissists, right? Okay. They were created or formed in childhood, right? On the other side of that spectrum is people pleasers. Superheroes are the ultimate people pleasers, you know and so that superhero, that I have to fix it. I have to make it. This is my value. This is who I am. I am valuable. I make stuff happen. I make it work. I get it done. you know I bring this to the table. No, literally, see, I brought the table. And so this is a part of my worth. And if I'm not doing this, if I'm not fixing it, if I'm not making it better, if I'm not adding value, then who am I and what am I doing? You know?
Mm,
And none,
powerful.
and none of that is about your worth at all. You are worthy without any of that, but that is not what we've thought, for so long. We've figured that we have to do all these things in order to be worthy. And that's not it.
Well, we go back to what you said when you first opened the room. People pleasing 101. Superheroes have degrees in it. They're the deans. They run the school of
Hmm?
people pleasing.
Absolutely.
Kelly just said, I'm a fixer, problem solver, people pleaser. Yep.
Yep. You
Yeah.
You got those
Yep.
degrees from People Pleasers University certifications.
Right. We're handing out degrees left and right here, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So what's the next one then?
So the next one that I want to point out is that we're going to go down to actually the last two. And the last two are 15 and 16. And 15 is they find every reason not to rest and genuinely live in the moment, always thinking and planning for the next fight. And this could be anything from as soon as you sit down thinking about all the other things that you have to do, so you got to get back up. It's your day off, but you found 11 million things to do on your day off. And now your day off is up. It's time to go back to work, and you're tired and irritated because you didn't take any time.
Hmm.
It's the holiday, and we just got out of a holiday season, and you done found everything to do to make the holiday perfect. You had to have all the decorations, you had to have all the food, all the plates and dishes that everybody wanted, everybody's favorite dish. Holiday is over. You are tired. You're exhausted, and you need time to recover from said holiday. you know we see this play out in many levels, and it might not be that for you. Might be you at work, where Every time it's another shift that comes open, somebody else didn't do their work, somebody else didn't show up. I got it. I'm here. I'm gonna stay. Mm-mm. Every reason, knowing full well that was supposed to be your day off, knowing full well that was the time you're supposed to go to that social event, but you found every reason. You allowed them to happen so that you're not resting. Yep. And number 16, love life. What's that?
Oh,
And with this, one of the reasons that our superheroes usually have trouble with their love lives are the duality that it causes. When you are trying to be two people and trying to shame or hide parts of who we are, it affects our love life because those are very intimate spaces. We
hmm.
can be fully intimate with someone when we are not being authentic and fully intimate with ourselves.
And we're
Honor,
not even being honest. We're not even being honest with ourselves.
we're not. And so honoring all of who we are and not being ashamed to show up every day as our full self is how we combat that. And that starts with a little bit at a time, you know, by honoring who we are in every area physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you know, honoring all of that and not looking at this because, oh, it doesn't look the way it's supposed to look. It doesn't sound the way it's supposed to sound. It doesn't feel the way they say it should feel. Forgetting all of that right now, today, this is who I am. And I know I have right now, today. I don't know what's happening tomorrow, the next 5 minutes, but right now, today,
Mhm.
I can find things. I can look at me and love me and honor the things that still need work without it being a whole thing that I feel like is a threat to my character or a threat to who I am. That no, I can love me. I can honor the fact that yes, there's still some work that I have to do, but that doesn't mean that I'm not a good person. That doesn't mean that I don't have a big heart. That doesn't mean that I am worthy of love, peace, and joy right now
Mhm. Mhm.
just because I,
Amen. Just because you're here, you're good enough as you are. Maybe next tomorrow you'll be a better version of you, but today this is what we get.
Mhm. And here's the thing, I'm glad you said that, but here's the thing to consider as well, that tomorrow you may be a better version of who you are, but that doesn't mean you're more worthy because you were already worthy, period.
No, that's right. That's right.
Just
You're just a different version. You're just a different version of today.
a different version of today. That's it. And it's a beautiful thing. And
You
so
know,
go ahead.
oh, go ahead. Well, I was just thinking when you were talking about, like running around and making everybody happy and being exhausted, that serves a purpose in these relationships that, that we're getting into and we don't want to be vulnerable. Um, that that serves a purpose too, and a lot of times like you said, it's because we shame the shadow, our shadow and the paces of parts of ourselves that we don't want people to see, but it serves a purpose of we can live on the surface, and so we don't have to go deep.
Right,
And a lot of times we're repelling the thing that we want the most, you guys, which is the connection, which is the love, which is the relationship, which is peace. But we repel it because to do that work, we have to be vulnerable. So if we stay on the surface level and we answer everybody's calls and we take up for our coworkers who don't show up and we're doing this and that, we get to be the martyr and like, look at me, we shine a spotlight, but it's all surface level stuff that we've achieved or and that way we can stay on that level. We don't have to go deep. We don't have to do that deep work.
right, right. Because that all of those things are distractions.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And it keeps you distracted, keeps me distracted, it keeps all the balls in the air. And again, it keeps people from being able to focus on like what's underneath. And so because God forbid if they find out what's underneath, they might reject us.
Right. And here's the thing. We not only rob ourselves of the connection, we rob the people that want to
Yep.
show up for us and with us and that
Yes.
have the capacity.
Oh.
We rob them of that connection as well.
Yes, we do. We keep them from being blessed. We
Mm-hmm.
keep them from giving the gift that they need to give and to show their gifts to us
Mm-hmm.
by rejecting the receiving.
Mm-hmm.
See, when we're all of these empathic people, you guys, a lot of us don't know how to receive. It's very upsetting to us. It's very, we're, no, 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 I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we reject that. And that's what I'm really glad that you bring up that point because we keep them from living the life or the path that they're meant to live and helping us and to show up to give us that gift.
Yes.
I'm so glad that you said that. And sometimes if we can shift our mindset,
Mm-hmm.
it really helps us be able to open up and to be vulnerable to allow that those people in our spaces to give us a gift.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there is one more, and then I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
I do want to go back to number 5 because number 5 says that we sacrifice everything for the world and allow ourselves to drown. And to combat that, we must remember that we must save ourselves first. Lizzo, whom I love, has a quote, and the end of that quote says, I believe we can save the world if we first save ourselves. You know, we must save ourselves first. And we can only do that through self love, self care, and intentional living. That's it.
Yeah, yep.
That's it.
It's put on your face mask first before you can, help somebody else breathe.
Right.
You can't, it goes back to number one when, the number two as well, you're trying to heal these other people when you're doing it through a lens of trauma and we're just projecting our trauma onto other people at that
Right.
point.
Right.
And yeah, yeah, these are so connected to me in my mind.
Hmm.
Um, yes. So yes, that's beautiful. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So Janie, you had your hand up. Jeannie, you've had your hand up. Where do you want to start first, Cassandra?
We'll let Jeannie, because I know her hand was up first. We'll start there and then go to Janie, if that's okay. And
Jeannie, are you there? Oh, Jeannie. Oh, she might not. She might
yeah,
have
she.
her marked off. Okay, we'll circle back. Janie, do you want to pop in? You had your hand up for a long time.
Um, all of what has been said has just been spot on with being really mostly less than ultimate, and I equate that to being inauthentic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and for many a years, um, wow, I mean, really many a years where I was inauthentic and couldn't show up, speak up for myself, and really feel self raised of my voice to bring her out with that voice and stayed collapsed. There was only by default that I could look for trauma by with which to render a sense of feeling. And it's why I lost a lot of things, um, eh, lost a lot of situations, people that would go away from me, and all these
Janie,
really radical things. Yeah.
Janie, somebody I don't know if it's you, Janie, but somebody's got their TV on in the background, and we can. I don't know if it's if somebody's got their TV on, guys. Can you just kind of like turn on the volume? So because you're really speaking a lot of amazing, powerful words, Janie. So I want to make sure that it comes across. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
That's okay.
finish your thought. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, perfect, you guys. Thank you, guys. So yeah, this is, I mean, speak it, keep speaking it, because you're saying some really powerful things.
Um, there's kind of a little bit of the background of not having been, and it's not a put down, but of a typical female, because instead I played a sport when I was younger, right up until my mid 20s. And it's a really different mindset and world from that aim of you have to, when you're an athlete, bring into a different step and mindset, and the kind of being a flower, or being flowery by the one side and, I'm sorry, fertilizer for the other. Neither one
Hmm.
are a sincere state of sense of self for what really grows me up to be adultified. And somebody wrote a really wonderful book, Nailing It, and putting the adage out in the great diaspora of, you're raising an adult when you bear kids. I'm not a mom, but I get this. Where was mine? Well, wasn't there. Now, well, to grow myself up as an adult, I have to come away from the trauma, get a mindset that brightens me and raises my voice. And it's taken years by with which. And what the utmost of benefit is really starting to show up, having me understand way past my logical linear, but out of my heart, is I'm growing more literate, spiritually literate, away
Beautiful.
from a bigger and away from a bigger brat that used to be defaulting, of having myself remain stuck in that trauma by with which to not show up. And when I started to show up, the people got better. The literacies helped for finances to become better. There were situations prayed through and would really show up spectacular. And they're continuing to this day. I'm not perfect, but I'm catching myself when I let
Oh,
that go. Of,
beautiful.
yeah,
Yay. I
yeah.
love that. And I love when you just said, I'm becoming literate. I've not heard somebody put it in that way, like spiritually literate, and then that is in growing yourself up, because that's the thing, as adults, a lot of us were left to do that work on our own, even if we didn't cause the trauma when we were younger, but we're there, we got to save ourselves, right? So I love that the terminology you used. Thank you for that. Cassandra, you have any thoughts on that?
No, I'm the same with you. I loved um, how she started even with the less than ultimate, you know,
Yes, I know, right?
and even recognizing the literacy,
Hmm.
being well versed in this intentional healing journey. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much.
That's beautiful. You guys, we only got about 2 minutes left. But is there anybody else that has anything quick that you want to add? I do, Cassandra, I want to, can you tell us, like when your groups meet, or how people can get a hold of you even outside of circles, for I know you do private coaching and other things, how they can get a hold of you for anything that they want to talk to you about?
Yes, yes, I'd be happy to. I will put this in the chat as we're wrapping up. That way it won't get messed up so you can screenshot it. But you can follow me on my social media platforms on Facebook, NIG, and LinkedIn. You can reach out to me on either of those platforms as well, DM or what have you. You can also follow or go to my website, which is blackwomendoheal.org, and follow us and do a form there to get more information. But yes, most certainly. And I will put all of this information in the chat. Here on
Yay.
Circles, I am here on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Pretty much all day Saturday.
Okay, great. Oh yeah, you're the person. Oh my God, you have a brave soul. I work on Sunday nights, but Saturday is that's like, well, bless your heart for doing that, because that's a big day for people, you guys. The weekends get really lonely. So thank you for holding space, Cassandra. And you guys can also reach out to Cassandra on her circles, like she has private chat, she has her group chat. So you can also follow her, that here, and talk to her in our circles app, and get referred out, for some of the other things too. But okay, so Cassandra, I think that I don't know about you guys, but I think we're gonna have to have you come back. I hope that you would be willing to come back, because I know Renee's like, this is better than Instagram, or this is better than a TED Talk. Oh, thank you for that. Yes. I
Oh,
mean, this was so much fun. I mean, you guys, I mean, we've all done this. Like, who can't relate to like one of the 16 points of like, yep, I've done that. That's me. Yeah, that's people I know. I mean, it's so fascinating. And I know we're not alone. And so I'm hoping that, you would consider coming back another Monday night and continuing this conversation, because we've only got through maybe like 4 points.
right, right. No, I'd be happy to anytime. I love doing the master classes. So my pleasure. You just let me know and I'm here.
Yes. Well, I don't know if there's anybody on for next Monday. I don't know if anybody has signed up for it, but if not, I mean, I would love to have you come back. They're already asking. Morgan's like, please, can we continue to break down the list? And absolutely. Um, yes, encore the points. We need them. Like, we need them, and they're all intertwined, you guys. And we can, bring questions. And oh, this was so much fun. This hour went by so fast, you guys. I could do like a whole other hour, but I just want to thank you and thank all of you. I know it's getting late for a lot of you. I know you could choose to do anything tonight with your time, and you chose to be in this space with us. So I want to send you lots of love and hugs and comfort. And Cassandra, you're amazing. This was so much fun. Great personality. So, oh, there they are, you guys. There's the points right there. So. I'm going to keep the room open for a minute. You guys can copy, paste, do whatever you need to do. And I love these. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank
Have an awesome night. And we will definitely plan on seeing you back here, Cassandra.
Definitely looking forward. Thank you, Anna, so much for holding the space. This was so much fun.
Oh my God. It's a blast. I love doing this. I love doing this with these amazing people that come to these groups. You
Awesome.
guys, good night. Mwah. Thank
Hey,
you so much.
all right. Thank you. And thank you,
Good
everyone.
night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank
You're so welcome, you guys. You're so welcome. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, Anna.
You're welcome, honey. See you tomorrow.
Thank you guys. Good night.
Good night. You guys have a good night. Get some sleep. Get some rest.